Hi, everybody, and welcome to City Beat. I'm your host, Nancy Byrne, and we are in the Chamber Gallery here on the second floor of City Hall, where you can always find great art exhibits. Well, our Department of Public Safety here in the city of Las Vegas is always looking to find new team members. It's a great career that combines protecting our community with community involvement. There's actually a workout you can jump in on to find out if you have what it takes physically to be part of the DPS team. Photojournalist Eric Sorensen takes us to a day of workout with DPS.
Are we ready? Exercise!
We started this about 2 years ago, and we've been running it every Saturday. What we were doing pre-academy prep sessions or voluntary PT sessions to get individuals ready for the next academy.
When I was a young city employee and I would call the marshals for whatever reason, I always thought what it would be like to be a marshal.
Pulled you over, I saw you run that stop sign.
I wanted to make sure I know what's going into the police academy. And I wanted to make sure that if I expect it, I could do it myself.
But not only is it for academy, it is also for recruitment. So we have all fitness levels that are coming out to these PT sessions.
It's been a great routine coming out here with TAC Officer Griffiths. I've got to learn about the guys, what motivates them, the guys and girls, what motivates them to come to the Department of Public Safety. And I want to make sure that city employees who are thinking about potentially becoming a marshal, that you can do it too. Come on out and figure out what it's like to be a marshal and come out and get in better shape.
For more information on how you could join our Department of Public Safety, go to lasvegasnevada.gov, then click on Government, Departments, and Department of Public Safety. Well, it was right here at City Hall on July 17th when we swore in 2 city council members as well as 2 members to our municipal court system. It's always an exciting meeting when we swear in new electeds, when family and friends gather to wish them all the very best of luck. There was barely an empty seat in the House by the time it was time to swear in the newly elected or re-elected men and women to their seats on the council dais or the bench, starting with Ward 1 Councilman and Mayor Pro Tem Brian Knudsen, who was re-elected to a second 4-year term handily during the municipal primaries. He chose to use his acceptance speech to address his 2 kids, Andrew and Catherine, and husband Brian. Here is just a taste of those tender moments.
When I was your age, I always wanted to be somebody else. I always thought about the things that I didn't like about myself and who I wanted to be. And now that I'm watching you grow up, I always wanted to be just like you. I think you are the most amazing, wonderful, fantastic child I've ever known. From the moment I met you, you were this big, and you were the strongest little girl I've ever met in my entire life. And growing up, you have been getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And for all the people that I meet, you are the strongest of all of them. And at the end of the day, of all the certificates and awards and recognitions that I get, it's being your +1 that is the most valuable. And I just want to be your +1.
Councilwoman Olivia Diaz was also re-elected by more than 50% during the primaries to a second term, representing Ward 3 in the city of Las Vegas, surrounded by family and staff, including her husband Frank and son Javier.
It was a hard-fought election cycle for me, so I'm just so relieved to be here and serving the city 4 more years. I would be remiss if I don't thank our Lord for all of his blessings and making sure I stayed strong and diligent and did my job, and he continues to make sure that I have the right people supporting me every day to make sure that I follow through with the office and the duties that the voters entrust me with.
Re-elected as judge in Las Vegas Municipal Court Department 3 was Kara Campbell. Her husband Josh was on hand to robe her for a second 6-year term.
I am so grateful for the opportunity to get to serve the citizens of this wonderful city. Frankly, the best city in the world, we all know that, right? And the city that I was born and raised in for another 6 years. I just told Judge Wolfson that I was just gonna take the mic and say, I've got 3 words, another 6 years, and drop the mic. But I'm not. The fact that I get to sit up there on the bench with all of you, my fellow judges, is just such a blessing.
And finally, a new face among the electeds, but not in the city of Las Vegas, was Rebecca Wolfson. Wolfson was deputy city attorney in the city of Las Vegas attorney's office before running for judge. With the law in her blood, literally, her father, Clark County District Attorney Steve Wolfson, and her mother, former District Court Judge Jackie Glass, were by her side. She took the oath of office. She emotionally thanked her parents for their guidance and support, but not before thanking those who put her in office.
But really, I just want to take this opportunity and thank everyone who helped me get to this very moment where I'm at right now. So the first group that I would like to thank are the voters and the citizens of Las Vegas. Obviously, I would not be standing up here if not for all of you. And I am honored and grateful that you all have chosen me to take this next step and to join what I believe and what I know to be an incredible bench of judges who work extremely hard every single day.
And with the swearing-in ceremony in the history books, so too is the latest photo album celebrating the successful races of these, the latest City of Las Vegas elected officials. Of course, we still have 2 very important city elections that we need to vote in, one for mayor and one for Ward 5 city council member. That's because the people that ran in that primary failed to get 50% of the vote plus 1. So November 5th is election day, but there will be a host of early voting sites and dates available very soon. At that very same meeting, when the crowds cleared out in the morning, a new crowd came in the afternoon, and that's because the city council was to vote on a new temple for the Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in the northwest part of our city. They ended up passing it 7-0, but not before a lot of discussion. Crowds of people packed into city council chambers to witness the vote because there had been a lot of discussion about the temple that will be located on 20 acres, the southeast corner of Hickam and North Grand Canyon near Lone Mountain. Some residents opposed the size of the building and the height of the steeple, which the city council voted to lower from 216 feet to 196 feet. Some residents were for the development, and there were petitions for and against the project that were circulated. Back in May, our Planning Commission voted 6-0 with one commissioner abstaining from voting to recommend approval for the 70,000 square foot temple. On July 17th, final approval for the project was given by the City Council. Now, in addition to lowering the steeple height, the applicant agreed with City Council suggestions to limit lighting the parking lot into the nighttime hours after the temple is closed, as well as eliminating one of the driveways, the northernmost driveway off Hickam. We are going to take a quick break, and when we return, Shaq is back doing one of the things he does well, besides basketball, helping kids.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Can you see anything different as a pill?
No.
You don't know?
Fentanyl is being mixed into everything now. There's only one thing that will save somebody's life. That is naloxone nasal spray.
Fentanyl, it's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
Why would drug dealers put a lethal dose of fentanyl in drugs if they know it's so harmful?
Really just all about the money.
I just didn't realize that one pill could change your whole life.
More kids should know.
Welcome back to City Beat from the Chamber Gallery in Las Vegas City Hall. Well, 2 organizations to help kids will soon be under one roof. It is the first of its kind center in the nation. And the driving force behind this is one of the biggest names and one of the biggest guys to ever play basketball.
1, 2, 3.
For Shaquille O'Neal, becoming the most dominant ever isn't about stats. It's about heart.
And then I watched the way he cared. And then most importantly, I watched the way he cared for kids.
With a heart as big as his stature, the basketball great is building his legacy beyond the court and into the community. Las Vegas will become home to the Shaquille O'Neal Boys and Girls Club and Communities in Schools Alumni Center. It's the first city in the nation to have both organizations committed to kids under one roof.
Thank you, Shaquille, for inspiring us to strive for a world where every child has the opportunity to thrive.
As he took the mic in true Shaq form, he stole the show.
Luckily, my aunt worked at the Boys and Girls Club right across the street, and my instructions was to, excuse my French, after school, take your over there, and you better not be on the streets by the time we come pick you up. So my aunt was very smart. She could see things that I couldn't see. Every time I come in, I had to show her a progress report.
Whoa, almost.
And just like today, it was a place for kids to dream big.
Certain days I wanted to be a police officer. You know, I'd help out, stop fights and do things like that. Certain days I wanted to be a rapper. Certain days I wanted to be a great basketball player. Boys and Girls was the place where I cultivated the character known as Shaq.
This is the reason why we are all here tonight.
For the past 3 years, Shaq's foundation, the Shaquille O'Neal Foundation, has hosted a fundraising effort called The Event at the MGM Grand Garden Arena. The star-studded event will help make the new center a reality. The 17,000 square foot center will sit across the street from 3 elementary schools near Northland Boulevard and Kell Lane. The Clark County School District and the county provided the land that will serve the kids in the county and city limits. The state-of-the-art center will include a gym, STEM equipment, an early childhood education center, the Boys and Girls Club, and the Communities in Schools Alumni Center.
So we're taking care of kids from infancy to 24 years of age.
It will offer career development resources, assist with job searches, provide professional learning opportunities, really be this hub.
A hub for recent high school graduates in Communities in Schools. Shaq serves on the national board for the nonprofit. The organization is committed to providing whatever it takes for kids to succeed and operates in more than 100 school campuses statewide.
I just wanted to come say I love you guys. I appreciate you guys.
Shaq may have the heart, but he says his beloved mother is the true visionary. The celebrated author, motivational speaker, generous philanthropist, and Boys and Girls Club's alumna helped Shaq conceive the idea for the project.
It's what I was taught by the great Dr. Lucille O'Neal, and anytime I can make her proud, doing a great thing. Very successful, done a lot, made a lot of money, but nothing matters to me than my mother sending me a text saying good job.
A loving reminder of what he does for others is the most meaningful part of Shaq's legacy.
I need you to repeat after me. I will become whatever I want to become.
Shaq also held his annual Shaq to School event at Monaco Middle School. Each year, the Shaquille O'Neal Foundation hands out backpacks, also known as Shaq Packs, filled with school supplies. Students in the Communities in Schools program help prepare the backpacks. In all, the Shaquille O'Neal Foundation handed out 400 backpacks to elementary and middle school students. It's a carnival-themed event with great music, fun activities, community vendors, and tasty treats. Well, it's hard to believe, but it's just about back to school time. And while parents may be heaving a collective sigh of relief, it's also a very stressful time in our households as parents try to get their kids back on track and back on schedule for a new school year. Well, a few years ago, we checked in with a couple of outstanding educators in our city to get some tips on how to get kids rebooted for the school year. Funny, what they said back then holds true today. Oh, summertime, long, lazy, hot
hot days filled with fun in the sun. Well, it's about to end. This is often a stressful time of the year as parents help kids get everything they need for the classroom and get them back on track for a more rigid schedule. Educators tell us you don't have to wait for school to start them on a sensible schedule.
First thing is just get the students on a good schedule. Get them to bed, have them wake up in the morning. Kids can eat breakfast here at school, and I don't know about all the schools, but many of the schools in our neighborhood, they can eat breakfast there. So just get them to bed, get them on a good schedule.
In fact, Principal Katie Decker says when her kids were growing up, she never strayed from the school schedule.
We kept an 8 o'clock bedtime, which a lot of people think is early, but 8 o'clock bedtime, when you're waking up at 5 in the morning, an 8 o'clock bedtime for kids is a reasonable time. It also gives adults a couple hours, to chillax after a long day with kids. So an 8 o'clock routine is really good. And having a bedtime routine that's consistent at night, and then a consistent routine for getting ready in the morning too, so that you're on time.
Both principals say get their minds rebooted from summertime activities to school activities.
Start thinking about what your nightly routines are, reading to them, getting them in the mode to think about education.
Do some flashcarding, do some math games, some counting of objects, have them, count out the silverware on the table or count things that you're doing or help you make a recipe, follow the measurements. Those are all great things to kind of get them back into an academic language.
And for all of you first-time parents who may be feeling a little sad and overwhelmed,
so for those parents that might be just a little bit nervous, just remember that teachers come into this profession because they love kids and they want to educate kids and they want to help students and families. And so when you're assigned a teacher, there's a lot of thought that goes into that process. And so you need to trust us as educators to do the job that we were trained to do.
The biggest thing to know is that the kids are fine. When they get to school, they are ready to play with their friends and have a good time. If you're super emotional about it and you're teary-eyed and you're gonna miss them, that saying, never let them see you sweat, never let them see you cry because they know you love them. They're gonna be fine. And I always tell the parents, you're gonna be fine.
We're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, we have just lived through one of the most excessively hot summers on record. Makes us wonder, how did people get by back in the day? We'll find out when we return.
If you've been affected by suicide, you're not alone. Suicide is a leading cause of death that affects millions each year. In most cases, it happens when stressful life events overload the coping abilities of someone suffering from a mental health condition. And the most common condition associated with suicide is depression, an illness that goes undiagnosed or untreated far too often. But the research is clear. Suicide is preventable if we work together. The American Foundation for Suicide Prevention has set a bold goal to reduce the annual suicide rate 20% by 2025. We can save tens of thousands of lives, but we need the help of everyday heroes like you. People have suffered in silence for too long, and too many families have had to weather their losses alone. You can change that. We need you to be the voice for suicide prevention, and it can be as simple as reaching out to a friend, because talk saves lives. If you're having thoughts of suicide, or if you're concerned about someone else, assume you are the only one who will reach out. You can also join hundreds of thousands across the country for our Out of the Darkness community walks, and raise awareness of suicide within your community. Together, we'll bring hope to those affected by suicide and raise awareness to save lives. Learn how you can fight suicide. Visit afsp.org today.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for information on how to provide even better care for the person who wants to care of you.
Congratulations to the City of Las Vegas Employee of the Month, Grant Strong. Grant is a heavy equipment operator and has been with the city since 1995. Grant is a role model in the Streets and Sanitation Division. His loyal service, dedication, and performance serve as an amazing example for his colleagues. Not only is he knowledgeable in his field, but he's always willing to take the time to teach others and is a vital part of getting jobs done. Through the highs and lows of his almost 30-year career, he has maintained a great outlook. He's one of the true unsung heroes who work for our city, putting citizens and our infrastructure first. For his dedicated service, we say congratulations to Grant Strong, the City of Las Vegas Employee of the Month. Welcome back to City Beat from the Chamber Gallery. You know, we are in the midst of one of the hottest summers on record here in Las Vegas, and it's begging the question, how in the world did people get by before air conditioning? And when did air conditioning first make its appearance here in Las Vegas? Crystal Allen has that story.
There's no end in sight to historic heat out west.
The extreme heat continues here in Las Vegas.
Sunday is now officially the hottest day ever recorded in Las Vegas history.
Another day, another record-breaking day of heat here in southern Nevada.
When record-breaking heat bakes the valley, this is our relief. Ice cold AC. But what do we do before air conditioning? For starters, there was a lot less pavement, concrete buildings, and urban landscape to hold in heat. The National Weather Service started recording weather data for Las Vegas in 1937. When you crunch the numbers and compare a couple of time periods, the average nighttime low during summer, when you should get some relief, has gone up 7 degrees. Before air conditioning, we discovered this interesting way of staying cool. It involved bed sheets. So what would people do? They would wet the bed sheets and then hang them in doorways. So when the wind came through, they get a little cool relief. Staying on the topic of bedding, some people took their beds outside to stay cool overnight. It wasn't just the folks here in Las Vegas. This is a picture of El Dorado Canyon in the early 20th century, about an hour south of Las Vegas. The early 1900s also brought the invention of evaporative cooling, or swamp coolers, an invention still widely used today, although a recent ban no longer allows swamp coolers in new commercial buildings and projects. It's part of Southern Nevada's ongoing efforts to conserve water. Speaking of water, free AC and even now, pools and lakes around town were cool places to cool down.
We're here on the Fremont Street Experience. Now, back in the 1920s, this building behind me was the coolest place in town. It was the El Portal Theater. It was the first building in Las Vegas to have air conditioning. Definitely the place to be. Binion's also calls the Fremont Street Experience home, but the hotel that came before it, you can actually see at Hotel Apache, which is also inside Binion's, well, it made some cool history. In 1932, Hotel Apache became the first hotel to greet visitors with AC. In the 1950s, Benny Binion bought Hotel Apache and merged it with the El Dorado Club. Hotel Apache was renovated and is now a boutique hotel inside Binion's Gambling Hall. We hope you enjoyed our look back at our community pre-air conditioning. Our thanks to Diane Seabrandt and the Centennial Commission for helping us compile this list. They're behind all the incredible documentaries you see right here on Channel 2. For all of us who know Las Vegas weather, let's just hope October comes sooner versus later.
Well, continuing to look back, 35 years ago, one of the most iconic properties opened on the Strip, the Mirage. And just about a week ago, it set off its last volcanic eruption. We decided to ask Mayor Carolyn Goodman her favorite memory of the Mirage. We are up in the wonderful Mayor Carolyn Goodman's office overlooking the beautiful city of Las Vegas. Mayor, the volcano went off for the last time. I know. Tell us one of your favorite memories of the Mirage.
Siegfried and Roy, always Siegfried and Roy. They have been such good friends to this city from the first that they came here. And I think of the tigers, but of course I think of the beautiful gardens. I think of the shark tanks. I think of everything that we all have enjoyed all these years. They were very special.
Yes, we did love them. We love them. And now, instead of a volcano, we'll have a giant guitar. And you can catch that giant guitar. In fact, the entire property is scheduled to open in the spring of 2027. Well, that does it for this City Beat. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next time around.
Find out what's going on all over the city of Las Vegas by subscribing to the City Beat e-newsletter. Simply scan this QR code to get a preview of each show twice a month.